So this week I continue my waiting for the test results of the blood tests, which will come next week on Thursday. Uh, as you can probably see, I got a haircut, which I got at there are barbers here around where I live in the very center of Kyoto, but they're all pretty expensive. They're 3,500 to 4,000 yen at places that look pretty fancy-ish. So I went, had to go by bus like 5-10 minutes, and then I found a barber place that cut hair for 1,730, I think it was in the end, which is quite a bit cheaper. It was by Kinkakuji, so I went there on Saturday. I went to both Kinkakuji and Kyomizudera in one day, which was good to get out of the way. I'm getting some of the major touristy things done before I get the results, pretty much, because I I still might, get good results, so, but I'm, Today I spent the day in Osaka. Went to some game stores, of course. 2 more Super Potatoes that I didn't go to before. And they were both like usual with Super Potato. They're very expensive. They have everything, but it's really expensive. This week in school also I got the results of the achievement test back from last week. And it was as I hoped. I got a better result than last time, so that means that the 4 achievement tests I've gotten better and better every time. So it started with 80, and then 83, and then 85, and this time 89. Very nice. There weren't that many mistakes, but they piled up enough to make 11 points pulled off. But that's fine by me. I don't, 89, no, I'm very happy with that. The thing is, though, there won't be 2 more tests because we're running a little short on time. Actually, this term is over in 2 weeks and 2 days. So we're going to have on Tuesday the 13th, the day before all the final stuff starts, I think, we're going to have an achievement test that covers both of the last 2 chapters, which is going to get rough, I think. So, yeah, that's going to be tough. But 89... quite happy with that. And with kanji I got another 100% one, so that means I've got 100, 100, 100, 95, 100, 100. And there's another one now on Monday, although I'm not feeling super duper confident about the one on Monday, because they might pull those. The thing is that just studying the kanji is one thing, the ones that are in the book, and even if I remember all of them, all the writings, they still pull up some component kanji where they pull something that we haven't studied. It just shows up in one example, and if it's in the book, we should they expect us to remember it. So not feeling like with this time, like a couple kanjis like iwao or the one to celebrate, and other ones I can think of right now, which is not a good sign, I guess. Leads me to think I'm not going to get 100 on the next one, which is, still fine, whatever. On Wednesday today, after the couch surfing thing where I talked to Japanese people, I went to the game bar finally, in Clans, and I brought my copy of Megaman X5. And I did something I never thought I would ever do. I beat Squid Adler stage, which the first part of I guess makes up really, like, it's pretty not that long, but it's this jet bike stage which happened before in Mega Man in X2 in Overdrive Ostrich stage, and in X4 in Jet Stingray stage. The Jet Stingray one is actually longer, but this one is actually, I thought anyway, was harder, because it's predicated on this one jump where you have to do the dash thing that you can't. For a while you break barriers, but you can't control yourself. So if you don't do it just right, you crash and get killed by the screen moving constantly. So I've always skipped that stage before, because in Megaman X5 you can skip stages. You don't have to beat really any stage to get to the final stages. So I've always skipped that guy. And I've only beaten the game with either cheats or the ultimate armor. This time I'm not playing with any cheats, but I'm playing with Zero, because I always play with Zero in the X games when I can. I love Zero, and because also I like lightsabers. He has a beam saber, but it's a lightsaber. So yeah, that was cool. Now I'm halfway through that game. I'm gonna go back this Wednesday and play it again. Next week on Thursday is the big day. This the Doom from the Doctor, which is I'm not agonizing about it anymore because either way I can live with the result. No, the whatever he tells me. If it's bad and I have to go home now, I mean not now, but probably at the end of this month, then okay, at least I got 6 months, and at least I got to pull out when I get when I qualify to get the other half of the tuition back, which fills up my bank account a bit, and then it helps me for when I'm back in Sweden, and if I get to continue, of course that's great. But on the other hand, if I do get to continue, it doesn't mean that I can completely relax again. And be like, oh, I'm guaranteed another 3 months because, like last time, because he saw that little whatever thing. That means, I mean, to me, it's gonna. I don't know if it means that or not because I'm not a doctor, but it's gonna feel like it can turn into a tumor at any time. So it could be, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, or it could happen next year. I mean, who knows? But I don't know. So it's gonna hang over me a bit for the last few times anyway. So it's gonna be more carpe diem, as I said. So the thing I'm going to have to work on is going out there and speaking Japanese to people, because I really need that practice, and it's really hard to get going with that because I'm pretty self-conscious about speaking, as I've covered in videos before. Anyway, pretty good week. I'm getting some stuff done and holding my breath somewhat for next Thursday. Now for some games. I'll start with one that is quite a big one. It's one of the biggest ones for me. Not the most expensive one I've gotten, but one of the biggest things that I really wanted. And it's not a Nintendo system. It's Rockman Mega World on Super Sega Mega Drive. It's Mega Man: The Wily Wars, aka Mega Man All Stars, sort of. It's remakes of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, and it has Wily Tower after you beat those. The thing is, though, I got this on Yahoo Auctions for 7,000 yen, and I think it's a fake, and that's why I'm not celebrating too much. And what makes me think it's a fake, it's first the cartridge is a kind of light. I haven't actually tested it yet because I don't have a Mega Drive. I need to. Maybe the Game Bar has a Mega Drive I can try it on. When you look at the cartridge sticker, it looks fine, but then if you look here, it has the same color going uniform. And I look up pictures on Google Images, it changes like a line here and it becomes more dark blue over here or something. But I've seen, so maybe that's how it's supposed to look. But on the other hand, I've seen other slight variations too, so I'm not entirely sure. But the next part is this, the card thing here. You see it's very light. It's like whitish. But almost all used Mega Drive cartridges that I've seen are brown down here. The I don't know if it's because of oxidation or what, but this looks too clean. I mean, it could just be like, ooh, a brand new cartridge or something, but that doesn't really seem that. I don't think so, but I don't know. First of all, I have to test it because this has a save function, and if the save function does not work, then that means there's no battery in here, and it doesn't really feel like it's weighing enough to have a battery in here. So, and if there's not a battery, then it's definitely fake, because then it reminds me of it's exactly when I bought Final Fantasy IV Advanced on Swedish eBay, and I got it home and I couldn't save because there was no battery in there. I mean, you could still play this game. You could beat all 3 in one sitting and get to the Wily Tower, but if it's fake, then I'm definitely trying to sell it. I'm going to sell it, even though I'm just going to say, like, well, this is like a reproduction or something. I'm not going to lie to people, but like this person maybe, or maybe not did. Maybe he didn't know, but whatever. So, withholding judgment for now, but doesn't look good. Then I went to the video game store here in Kyoto, and I bought 3 games. First a game that I already had, which means I had to sell the other one. But it's Sound Novel Skuru, the sound novel creator, but it's boxed, which I felt like, well, since I got the cartridge and the strategy guide, I don't really need the manual from the box. But this was 600 yen, so I thought, sure, I'll double down on this. So yeah, and in the same store then I bought Zelda Oracle of Seasons, which was only what was it, 400 yen, I think. It's really cheap. The thing is, what was on the same rack, I saw it for 700 yen. So I just like, I'll just pick the cheaper one. And the second game is Game Boy, but it's Advance. It's Screwbreaker. Now, do you know what Screwbreaker is? It's Drill Dozer with another name, and with a cartridge that makes me want to kind of eat it, because it kind of looks like gingerbread, sort of. and this thing is Rumble. It's a Rumble pack. This is the Rumble pack. Then today in Osaka, I bought a game actually 2 times, which I shouldn't have done, but you know, that's mistakes you make. I bought Pokemon Pinball twice. First, I bought the boxed one for 500 yen, which I thought was a decent price. And I mean, I have a soft spot for pinball. Not Pokemon, but pinball. I mean, and it has the Rumble in it. It felt like, for that cheap, sure, whatever. But then I was in another store and I saw this for 80 yen, only cartridge only. So I figured, I'm going to buy this and then sell the one with the box, because I don't really need the box anyway. I mean, the game is fine enough game. At the same store, I bought a game that's a little bit of a gamble, because I've seen it a few times and it looks really interesting, but it doesn't look like I'm going to figure out how to play it. But since I saw it boxed, I figured, sure, okay. And it was still like half, pretty much half price of what I see cartridge only. So it's like, sure, okay. Wonder Project J, and this is a NX game, really interesting, about this Pinocchio ripoff. You don't really. It's kind of like Pac-Man 2, the one where you don't control Pac-Man, as kind of a point and click feel, and you instruct this robot boy on how to act human and stuff, and you point him in the right direction and scold him when he does wrong, and reward him when he does right, and everything. But because this is a manual, I have a chance to figure it out. Also has a sequel on the Nintendo 64 of all places called Wonder Project J2, where you control a girl instead of a boy. I always wondered why it came on Nintendo 64, because Nintendo 64 is not known for 2D exactly, but it did pull it off. So, and then a game I didn't kind of like when I got Rockman Battleship GP, aka Battleship Challenge. It's a game I don't necessarily want that much, but it's for the collection. It's Ryusei no Rockman Pegasus. It's Megaman Star Force. I actually played and beat this one in English before, and in Japan it has 3 fucking versions: Pegasus, Leo, and Dragon. I got the Pegasus one because there was only Dragon and Pegasus in the store. It was 280 yen, really cheap, so sure, okay. And lastly, the most expensive game I bought this today anyway, of these except for Rockman Mega World, is for 2,000 yen. It's Makendo. Has a nice girl with a nice leg on the on the cartridge here. Nice legs. I like legs. This is a humorous platform action game that I actually found out about like a year ago, and I really wanted it, and I looked for it a few times. Thought it was a little expensive here whenever I found those 3,000 yen or above, and then I tried it in emulator and thought it was bad. So then I stopped looking for it, but then I started looking at a video about it, and I was like, maybe it's not that bad, and maybe I just blew it off too early. So I'm gonna give it one more try. And hopefully it feels better to actually play this time, because I really do like the art style. Yeah, so those were games. Next week I have one game coming to me from Korea that I'm waiting on. So yeah, here's hoping for that one, and here's hoping for good results, even though I told you this already. Right, so see you next week. Tecmo week.